Hey, sports fans. It's your man, B. Austin, 1/5 of the Generals, the greatest sports podcasting team in the history of sports podcasting. War Room Sports is proud, pleased, and privileged to bring you episode 244 of the War Room. The Orioles, the Oregon Ducks, are now the Philadelphia Ducks. Big trades going on. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we bring you the wild and wacky world of sports for the week. Episode 244 begins now.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. Give it to you how you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sort of like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, everybody out there? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports on the WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm here at the round table with the bros, Jimmy the Blueprint Williams, and that dude B. Austin. We got a great show for you guys today, as usual. Chip Kelly is making Philadelphia, Oregon East. LeBron is taking sad-face mirror selfies. MJ is worth a Billy plus. And we'll talk about all of this and a whole lot more. So strap in, keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in live on the conversation, just join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Hot Tech Hotline at 323-410-0012, and we'll be opening up the hotline in about 30 minutes. So in about 30 minutes, make sure you call in if you got something to say. But before we get started, we got something that we must do every week. You know it. You guys must take a listen to the other great shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You can get there by clicking the network tab at warroomsports.com or on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. You'll find some of the best talk shows on the internet, such as the Broad Street Line with Roy Burton and Chris Domingo, After Further Review with the Mayor, the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil and Savad, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon Pemberton and Anthony Green, and a whole lot more. And once again, we'd like to welcome our newest show to the network, the Mad Scientist Sports Lab with Nick Ficcarelli. You can also catch the listings over at fatsradio.com. That's PHATZ radio.com for air times of all your favorite WRSPN sports shows. All the sports shows on our network are syndicated on fatsradio.com. So you can go over there to that website and check out the lineup. The War Room airs over there on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Homies, it's been a wild week in sports indeed. So what's up? What's up with y'all? Y'all ready to do this?
Yo.
Yeah, I'm just trying
this
to
is what we
see
do.
if I can put a triple-double in.
4 straight, 4 or 5 straight.
Yeah, you know, just trying to,
make you better than Jordan.
Westbrook chasing us. Man, we got like 243 straight triple doubles. So we got a long way to go.
This is true. He's not doing a good job of chasing us because I don't dress like that.
Yo.
All right, well, let's jump right into it then. Jimmy, let everybody know what happened this week while they were on the ground.
Absolutely. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. You got to get the NFL Sunday Ticket to watch Chip Kelly and Marcus Mariota go at it next season. So sign up now, warroomsports.com, and click that DirecTV logo. All right, listen, here's the first thing I want to bring to you guys, man. LeBron James, after that Houston Rockets game in which he got kicked in the gonads and he blew the game on the foul line, had a terrible foul shooting performance. he posted what they're calling a sad face mirror selfie. I have my own thoughts about it, but what do you guys think about this picture he put out there?
Can I read the caption first? His Instagram caption under the photo before y'all go in on him.
Yeah,
he posted the picture, and I'm sure everybody out there has seen the picture by now. He's LeBron James. We know everything he does. He said, "Looking in the mirror tonight after a tough loss on my part, you're the biggest challenge, competition, drive, obstacle, motivation, etc. So it's nothing you haven't seen before. Back in the lab tomorrow to continue to drive, to striving to be the greatest I've ever seen. Hashtag strive for greatness." So that's the caption under.
The greatest that he's never seen.
So what are your thoughts on that, B?
Contrived plea or ploy to seek pity, and further align himself with his sycophants. Tossed them a little bit of food for them to eat on and roll around and declare him the greatest. And look, see, he does care. Look, Now, my whole issue with this is the guys that I've come to know and love and define basketball for me. It's for me. First of all, it would have been impossible for them to go 3 of 11 from the line. That this is just not possible. Larry Joe Bird, it's not possible for him to miss 9 free throws or 8 free throws. This is not, it can't happen. But had they had a poor shooting performance from the line and cost their team the game, they wouldn't have posted anything. They would have been in the gym shooting until they couldn't lift their arms, rather than demonstrating to the world how sad they were. It's whack, man. LeBron.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
All right, but we already pretty much know that, you know, a lot of stuff, mostly everything LeBron does in public is contrived. So, I mean, it's nothing for us to be surprised about. I'm not saying that you said, I'm not saying that you said that you were surprised, but this has come to be the expected. LeBron James is a multi-million-dollar, and just saying multi-million is putting it lightly. He's a multi-million-dollar brand. I was just explaining this in a group last week over his comments that he made, you know, publicly in a video when Derrick Rose got hurt. Shout out to JT over at Rank Top 5 Sports over in Chicago. I was in his group on Facebook, and everybody was getting on me because I mentioned that, you know, because they were saying, "Oh man, I'm starting to like LeBron because this is cool, man. He wished Derrick Rose well." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he wants you to do." And I had to explain to them, and we talked about this a little bit last week. I had to explain to them how, you know, I'm not saying that the dude is a bad guy, but he has a brand that he looks out for 24/7. So when you blow some free throws at the line to lose a game, and then you go take a sad face selfie in the mirror and post it for millions of people to see, you're trying to get people on your side, because years ago, LeBron misses those shots and the whole world is on his back. And I'm sure he was tired of that, and it's hard for him to take that. But throughout these last 4 years or so of recrafting his image, you know, these are the type of things he does, and it actually works on some pretty naive people. And like I said, I'm not saying that to say he's a bad
People
guy,
are stupid.
but you know, come on, man. But Jim, before you even say that, man, I got to go back to the root of this whole thing. First of all, the picture is crazy because I never saw a phone, so he actually got somebody to take this photo of him looking like a sad face puppy.
It's not a selfie. It's not a selfie. That's what I was going to tell you. That's the biggest point that you both are missing. This is not even a selfie. He stood in the mirror and had in position. So this was like a photo shoot. And had someone take it where they wouldn't show up, but he would look like he's like it's weird. It looked like the cover of an R&B album.
The missed free throw photo shoot R&B album edition. This dude is a noodle, yo. This is a noodle, guy.
like I was looking at it and I kept saying, people say, look at LeBron's selfie. I'm like, well, where is this cell phone at? Like, we know that LeBron is a master marketer, so he would have definitely had his Galaxy Note, which he's his sponsor. He would have had that in there. So even more so than the JoJo Award, my man wins the Ralph Tresvant Award.
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you pointed that out. I want to point something else out from a basketball standpoint, and I'm sure we'll get into this later, but I have to for our early listeners. One of the reasons that LeBron James does not work on posting up more and going to the rack in late game situations is because he doesn't want to be on the line. He doesn't want that pressure. LeBron will go to the rack all game long, knowing that the referees are going to blow the whistle for him. He'll move people out of his way with his left hand usually. Sometimes his right when he's going left because he can go left. But mainly with his left hand, he'll push you out of the way. He'll elbow you. He'll put his shoulder into your sternum, and he'll get to the rim and usually draw contact. He usually does get fouled, and he has no problem through quarters 1, 2, 3, and possibly even half of the fourth. But if it's a late game situation and it's close, he's taking a fall away jump shot, and his jumper has improved tremendously, but he is still not Steph Curry. My man does not want to go to the line of the free throw line. That pressure bothers him.
Yo, I think. Now listen, I think that you're being a little bit hard paused on LeBron because he has stepped up and as of late, specifically after the break, he's been making a lot of his fourth quarter free throws. Now, granted, this past run they've been beaten by 1 million points.
Yeah,
but I'm
they've
talking
been
about
beaten.
during the course of this. If you watch the Cavaliers games, he's made some crucial free throws. Now,
I'm talking
does he nut up
that
at
pressure?
Absolutely.
That pressure.
Absolutely. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, like when you talk about pressure, the entire fourth quarter is pressured. I mean, and I'm not saying that he's a clutch player. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is he had an off.
Your man,
Magic. He had an off night. He definitely he had an off night.
Miss free throws in the first through the third, and then pop his gum and smile in the camera and ice the game. That's what your man.
I mean,
Come on.
No, I hear what you're saying, and but you try to make this. I think you're making it bigger than what it really is. Like
missing 3 for 11 and missing 2 game winners.
Yes, absolutely. 3 for 11 is terrible. Absolutely is terrible. But I've seen great players have off nights from the foul line. I've seen it happen. I mean, it is what it is. But my thing is the whole if you look at this in the macro, right, and you talk about how this guy wants to be loved, he wants everyone's affection or what have you. That's fine. That's who he is. That's who he is. What I'm looking for, and it looks like Kevin Durant is kind of taking his turn now. I'm looking for someone to be like the anti-hero or the bad guy, so to speak, because LeBron he wants to be the good guy. We need someone to step up in the NBA and then have the narrative being the bad guy. I know it is. I was getting ready. That's what I was leading to, and I don't want this to sound like a Russell Westbrook Blumpkin Fest all show, but he has that personality. It looks like Kevin Durant's getting that personality. It looks like Kevin Durant's like turning his like. If you look at Kevin Durant lately, like he's just tired of like all the good guy stuff. Like it's bothering him. He's turning into like a bad guy. So I'm interested to see what happens when he comes back. But LeBron has definitely made himself the good guy, the family man. Everybody loves LeBron, and it's cool. If that's what you want your image and your brand to be, cool. But we need that bad guy. We need somebody for us to root for because we like the bad guy. So.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
Last two bad guys about to retire, so we in trouble.
Yeah, I hear all that.
Yo, but you know what? If you look at Kobe's career in the beginning, he was trying to be the guy too. It's like when he
was trying to be Mike.
Back at Colorado,
he was trying to be Mike.
He was like, well,
he just had to embrace it because they hated him anyway. So
yeah, pretty much. He had no other choice. He was forced into being a bad guy.
Yo, Kobe could do no right.
Off the camera. Once he
Kobe
touched that girl,
was a good guy until he
was a rap.
And he bent the chick over the chair.
Took the yamage. Once Colorado happened, he got that yamage. It was a rap.
Yamage.
Anyway, listen. We talked about high school basketball and how some of these coaches are out of control. But I want to get your opinion on this story. A girls' high school basketball team was banned from the playoffs for wearing pink in their jerseys. Now, the rules in their league, they have to wear school colors, but, they were, trying to support cancer, breast cancer. You put pink in their jerseys, and they were suspended. They were banned from the playoffs. Then they were reinstated, but then their coach got in trouble. Like, well, their coach can't be with them for the rest of the season or what have you. So it was a big issue with that. What do you guys think about this? Now, rules are rules, but, I mean, everything's not black and white. What do you guys think about the story?
Yeah. This is one of those stories. And this is, I believe, a California high school team, because they actually – the championship game is against Cal State Dominguez Hills, and we've heard of those teams, football and all that kind of stuff, high school. It's a thin line here, because it's certain things that you kind of see as off limits when penalties are concerned, but then when you set that precedent of, okay, they're doing this for a good cause, they're doing this for breast cancer, then it might spiral out of control, and then everybody's making, breaking the uniform rules and just chalking it up to a great cause. And in this case, I thought suspending them for the championship game of all games, I thought that was a bit much. So I'm glad that they actually went back, revisited that, and allowed the girls to go on and play in the championship game. Now they just have to do it without their coach. In these day and times when coaching staffs are like 50 deep on every level, I don't know how much that's going to affect them. So maybe they know that, and the punishment is going easy on them. But this is another example of us living in a reactionary society, because they made their ruling. The windfall came down because this type of thing goes viral these days, and nobody wants to be the bad guy in public. So they had to change their mind. I'm glad they did, but it's one of those things, man. Like you said, Jimmy, rules are rules, and you just don't want things to start getting out of control because of this type of stuff. But I'm glad they get to go ahead and win their championship, or play in their championship.
Yeah, now I mean, you never know. Like, they may have a head coach that runs everything. So I don't know their situation in terms of the coach, but it was very reactionary. But that's what social media has become, basically another way to bully organizations. People are doing what you want. Social media.
My views are not representative of War Room Sports at large, but I just don't care about women's basketball, so I really don't have an opinion.
Sexist of the bunch.
I get that. But this is just a thing where I understand, like, rules are rules. You don't want people getting out of control. Maybe they should have done. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to this question is, because I see both sides of it. Like, maybe they should have gotten approval first. They even try to get approval.
But Jim, like, now, like I said, it's a slippery slope, because now I can go out like Left Eye and tape condoms to my jersey and say that I'm doing this for AIDS prevention or something like that. Like, it can get carried away, because people are childish and they will carry things away. But I don't know. I'm glad they're getting a chance to play, though.
This country was built on people taking chances and carrying things away. That's why we have, laws, and that's why laws have changed. So everybody out there who takes things too far, continue to do so. We become better as a society. Anyway,
at one time they took something so far that they made some people three-fifths of a human being. I mean, they got carried away.
They took that real far, didn't they?
Yo, we still suffering.
But listen though. But here, now the flip side of that, be often, if people just stood by and accepted that and said, "Well, rules are rules," then we wouldn't be where we are now. Some people fought and was like,
"Yo, man, we a great triumvirate, man. You get game from us." Go ahead, brother.
Yo, rest in peace to Christian Addicts. Yo, side note. Anyway,
as Jimmy say, jewels.
Free jewelry.
Shout out to Nat Turner. Your movie is coming.
Yeah, Nat Turner. They're probably gonna let Robert Downey play Nat Turner. Anyway, they're gonna give us the movie, but they're gonna give us the movie, but they're gonna have somebody draw and play it. George Clooney is Nat Turner. Anyway, speaking of epic fails, Steve Francis is a walking fail at this point. And this time he took another L on concert. He was at a concert in Houston. With some group I've never heard of. Shout out to Tissue and the Tape, the hip hop podcast. Sports. I see them in the chat room. I don't know whether they heard of this group or not, but the Sauce Boys out in Houston. I'm not familiar with their body of work.
Sauce Twins.
The Sauce Twins. Yeah, the Sauce Twins. So he's hanging out with the Sauce Twins.
Take some
Yo,
sauce.
my man got his chain snatched, but he got dragged with it. And the picture looks terrible, yo. Looks
Please
like
look
Solomon
at this
Northup
video.
dragged-
Jimmy.
If you haven't seen it, just Google Steve Francis chain, and it'll come up, man.
Oh.
Please look at the video.
After that, they
Yo, he
stepped
looked
on
like
his chest
he
to
looked
take
like
it.
Solomon Northup getting taken down south, yo.
Yo, but this is the thing. How come? First of all, Steve Francis looking the way he does, like he can't really have any friends. Like he seemed like a loner in that situation. Nobody really went to his defense.
No, he
They
don't.
just
He
kind
don't
of,
have
you
one.
know,
He
when
don't have
something
friends.
jumps off, everybody's gonna run up. But nobody actually tried to help him because the dude dragged Steve for a good 3 seconds and still got away with his chain after it wouldn't pop.
Yo,
My question to you guys is, why is Steve Francis always on stage with some rappers who obviously don't mess with him, and he's always getting beat up on stage somewhere? Like,
Yo,
dude,
Yo,
he
my man
never,
wants to
he
be like so
never,
bad. My thing is, yo, you damn near
Yeah.
40. You cut it out.
Yo,
You damn near
he
40, still
never-
running from cops. Like, yo, stop.
he never got over the hood stardom, and it all got yanked from him so fast. And you know, being in the Washington D.C. area for as long as we have, we know some personal friends of his or acquaintances. We know some personal stories of his. I got to tell you, man, Steve Francis. You know, normally I want us to be our ignorant selves because there's plenty of jokes that could be shot at this man, but like something is really seriously wrong, and it's a combination of his health issues, his mental issues, and narcotics, man. And
But
and
B,
he
who
needs
gets
help,
up?
man.
What famous person gets up, gets
He's not
dressed, leaves their
famous.
house by themselves, and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go down to this Sauce Twins show, and I'm gonna stand on stage with the Sauce Twins." Because I don't know if you guys seen
NB40,
Sauce Twins.
NB40 though.
There's a video on TMZ where one of the Sauce Twins has his chain, saying we got his chain back, but they weren't talking like, you know, they were talking like it's possible that one of their homies did this. Because he was like, yeah, no, I got his chain. For everybody who's saying that he already got the chain back, that's not true. I got it right here. And he said, the only reason we giving this back is because I got pecked for the homie. He was trying to say respect. He said, because I got pecked for the old. He called him an old man. I got pecked for the old man. So, it sounded like this was completely condoned. Maybe they were, pointing him out like, yo, why is he on stage? Just go up there. They probably weren't trying to take his chain. They probably just trying to yank him off stage. But I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
This whole thing is an epic failure in so many proportions. But so because of that, I try to look at the situation, and I am a conspiracy theorist. So I was like, look, he can't be this big of a failure. So here's my theory, right? He somehow funds the Sauce Twins. He puts the money up for their group. This was a publicity stunt. He wanted to get them hot, get them on TMZ, and get their name out there. So he used, whatever little he got to help promote the
Jim,
Sauce
man.
Twins because
Boy almost pulled his neck
backing
off,
the Sauce.
and he
Yo,
looked asleep at one point on the ground while he was
Jimmy
getting his neck.
Jimmy doing.
He took one for the
Jimmy
team, yo.
Jimmy doing what I do for cats that I feel sorry for. I start making excuses for why they're in these positions, man. Yo, boy, yo.
My thing is, man, how are you this big of a failure as a human being? Like he's a walking punchline.
He's not even. And the thing is, he's not even broke. He's not even broke. So there's no excuse for, like, oh man, I don't know. Listen,
looks so puffy though.
Listen, that's usually a saying, like use a walking punchline. But if you listen to the Prime album, he's literally a punchline. Like he's become a punchline. Royce used him a couple times as a punchline in raps. Like this dude is a fail, man. And the thing is, some people don't realize how much talent he had at one point. People used to compare him and AI, like better.
Yeah, franchise used to be
It was
that
better.
thing,
That was a thing at one point.
Yo, Baron Davis.
franchise was
Baron
nice
Davis,
in that dunk contest, but everybody
Yo.
forget about how nice he and Stackhouse were in that dunk contest because of what, and Tracy McGrady because of what Vince Carter did. That probably was the greatest dunk contest of all time, but nobody remembers it because of the ball of Vince Carter.
Baron Davis,
Vince
Steve Franchise, the boy that eat Vaseline, and AI. All of them, Starberry, all four of them are all kind of in that level, with AI, of course, raising above a little bit. But all four of them dudes were immensely talented. And Steve Francis used to be ignorant in the NBA. Like, he would pull tricks out and do it to guys that were like good and embarrass
Quiet
their
as
homies.
cat.
Like,
No one.
Your man Barron is talking about making a comeback. He's looking for a
No,
playoff
that ain't
caliber
serious.
team. Yo,
That ain't
yeah,
serious.
there's-
That ain't real. That ain't real.
he putting feelers out now to playoff teams. He
All
talking
right,
about the
so-
Clippers or the Cavs. They're interested.
Real quickly, Austin. AI's at the top of that food chain. Who's the next best out of them dudes you name?
Steph Starberry.
Oh,
Wait.
I agree with you, but I didn't think he was going to say that. But I actually agree
No,
with
no,
you.
no.
I think
No, you thought I was gonna say Barron because I got love.
What?
No, I got love for Barron. No, but Cats. Listen, Jimmy. Cats get into the Hall of Fame with Starberry's career NBA numbers. Like, he's 18-8. It's guys that get into the Hall and people will defend and fight for him. So why you won't put Steph in? Steph got the numbers.
We know why.
He just ain't got the wins.
All right, man.
We know why. It's all kinds of stuff. Anyway,
Steve Francis was actually the one getting his chain snatched at a show, but we still gonna give you this.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
Stay out of Sauce Twin shows because they're most likely some sauce in the first place. So come on, man. Let's go.
the Saw Twins, yo. I'm not familiar with it. I wonder how many people looked up their music after this happened. Like, I'm telling you,
Not
what's up
I.
behind this, man? Anyway,
Not I.
even if he didn't put money up there, they probably was like, yo, this will make the news. Go get him.
I would have looked their music
They
up
said
if they weren't called the Sauce Twins. That did it for me. I'm
That
cool.
name is terrible. That name may be, yo, that's one of the worst names ever, yo.
If you name
That's
yourself Sauce, then you got to be some sauce.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's up there with Titty Boy as a bad rap name. Anyway,
And he was just as bad as his name. Just
Probably
call
worse.
himself dumbass boy.
yo, now known to as 2 Chainz, which may be just as bad as the name as Titty Boy. Anyway,
2 Chainz.
Nick Young threatened ESPN's Robert Flores on Twitter in defense of Iggy Azalea. Robert Flores made a joke about Iggy Azalea on SportsCenter, and Nick Young went to her defense on Twitter and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna see you," which is hilarious. to me.
Nick
Like,
Young.
yo, no, not only that, but he gets respected all the time. Like Snoop, talked about her filthy, and he said nothing. All kinds of rappers.
He
have
knows.
dissed her.
He knows who
Said
to
nothing.
say. He knows who to say stuff to and who not to. He knows.
I got the
He know
comments.
what it is.
I got the comments.
I got to say.
Robert Flores, he on Sunday he said on SportsCenter that Nick Young's girlfriend Iggy Azalea was trying to kill hip hop. So Nick Young started firing at him on Twitter. He said at Roflo ESPN. So off the fact that was cool to say, it don't sit right with me. So we got a problem. Then he added him again, said, your job is to talk sports, not what me and my chick got going on. Then he said, he followed it up with, I'm pretty sure we're going to run into each other soon. So that was like the threatening element of it, saying, since they're both in California, he's going to run into him soon. So Robert Flores was on a show. He was on Sedano and Stink show on ESPN, and they asked him about it. And he said, well, if you look at Nick Young's numbers, there's a 70% chance that if he takes a shot at me, he's going to miss. So the barbs and the jabs just keep going back. So he also said, we learned this week, a dolphin recently tried to kill Nick Young this week. He said, so Nick, while dolphins are trying to kill you, your girlfriend is trying to kill hip hop. Let's call it even, okay? He's killing him. Like, he's killing Nick Young. And Nick Young has nothing left to say, but you want to see me about something?
Hold on, real quick, guys. Like, yo, Nick Young, stop, because what Robert Flores just did right there, yo.
Mess with your soul like ether.
Taking a moment of silence.
Yeah,
for Nick Young's
It's
dignity.
a wrap, yo. It's a wrap. There's no way for him to come back from that. Like he might have to punch him at this point.
That's why, that's why he told him, "I'm gonna just see you." He getting super ugly on him. Y'all like what I did with that.
That's
terrible. Iggy Azalea needs to be thrown into pit of the unfortunate as well. But that's a whole nother story and topic.
Nah, Lyric, I saw what you did. I saw what you did there. Yeah, she definitely. She's. I'm not a fan of her music at all.
Throw into something.
I'm not a fan of her culture. I'm not a fan of her culture appropriation and her indignation about it.
Say that you want to do what?
Why she sound like a southern black chick though when she rap?
And she's from
Only
Australia.
when she raps.
She's not even from this country. Huh?
Only when she raps. She don't talk that way. Only when she raps does she get in like.
She talk like Crocodile Dundee, but then she sound like the Brat when she rap.
Yeah. Yo, T.I., you a coon. Yo, T.I., you a coon for that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just want y'all to know that I'm taking this clip right here and I'm gonna add Nick Young and send it to him and dare him to say something.
Yes.
He don't want that with us. He don't want that with
please,
us. He don't want that with us.
Back. I need Nick. Please
Come on,
say
he gonna play tough with us. Come on, Nick. I seen you in church before. Come on, man.
I'm definitely doing this.
You used to play in Washington. I seen you in church, and I was just visiting.
Because I'm definitely sending this to Nick Young, and I dare you, yo. In the words of Prodigy, it's about who see who first. So
no, I let him see me first, and he's still
it don't even matter.
He's in a bad situation.
Can I ask y'all a quick question though? This is off topic. This is another topic before Jim before I shout out the birthdays real quick. Dominique Wilkins got a statue unveiled today at a private luncheon at Phillips Arena. And we actually just before the show posted it on our website, on our Facebook page, at War Room Sports, asking if he deserves a statue. What do you guys think? You think Dominique Wilkins deserves a statue?
Yeah, Dominique Wilkins is the Atlanta Hawks.
We're biased.
He is the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. Phillips Arena is Atlanta. I know for me, I'm biased because I probably overrate Dominique Wilkins. But within the context of the organization we're talking about, he's the greatest Hawk by no question. So you can't be mad.
I'm in another direction with y'all because I think
every capacity of that organization. My man has worked as a sideline reporter. He's worked as like a GM, of executive vice president. I don't even know what his title is now. Like he's done everything for that organization.
Right now, I didn't take all of that into account, and Jimmy does have a good point, but I'm starting to think that they're going too far with these statues.
Giving statues.
Is
idolatry.
Probably the greatest method of immortalization. Is that a word in sports?
Yeah.
And I think
we made it one.
It is now.
There's probably 4 or 5 people in the history of the NBA who probably deserve a statue.
I agree.
But to me, it seems like every franchise is starting to feel the pressure to put a statue of somebody outside of their building. So they're going to say, okay, he's the greatest Hawk. But what the hell does the greatest Hawk mean? What the hell is the Hawk?
Yeah.
Like, Dominique is my $50,000, but the hell with a statue, man. What do you do to get a statue?
Dev is the ultimate anti-dick eater. Like he is completely against anything that's about dick eating. So to him, I think it ruffles your sensibilities to see another man get a statue, and he's just I feel the Hawks. I think
you have to change the game in some way, and not just on the court.
He didn't do that.
You got to be on some Bill Russell.
I look at it a little different.
Yeah, you're right.
I look at it a little different, right? Because I think that each team, right, should be about that team. Like when you go to an arena, you have teams. Damn, let me finish. When you go to an arena and certain teams don't have championships, they find a way to put something on a banner. They be like, we won 60 games this season. They'll put a banner up. Like so to me, the arena is a representation of the actual organization. Because if we talk about guys, that means that Doc don't deserve a statue, and that statue is like iconic. But if we talk about guys that don't deserve a statue, you're saying maybe only 3-4 guys, and I get that. That means that Doc statue wouldn't exist, and that's
I say like Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, and Rocky. Ha! Yeah, I said it.
Doc statue is iconic to me. Like, Like, you can't take down Doc's statue. That's like a part of the whole experience. Like, Doc's statue is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, I think that, you know, every team should put their and to me, he represents what it means to be an Atlanta Hawk. When I think of Atlanta Hawks, there are no other players I think of.
If you're asking me, like, if that's a thing, like, okay, every franchise has to put a statue out in front of their arena, then of course Dominique Wilkins. But like Skyview just said in the chat room, like, well, he said no championship, no statue. I'm like, not even a championship should just get you a statue. But then he said Dominique was the GOAT of the 8th seed.
He said he was the GOAT of the 8th seed.
Also, you got to understand he's from that area, right? So he's like a legend in Georgia, period. Like, outside of just the Hawks, he played in Georgia.
I get that, but Dev is right on this one, man.
I'm sorry, that was
is getting.
Yo, my bad. That wasn't
right
Skyview. That was. Hold up, y'all. Hold on. I gotta give credit where credit is due. That wasn't Skyview. Did say no championship, no statue, but that was tissue in the tape that said greatest Hawk equals GOAT of the 8th seed. So I gotta pass out the jokes where they really came from.
Oh,
no doubt, but I heard that Mutombo got one in front of King of Diamonds.
I will love you.
See, now that's the thing. Mutombo should have a statue somewhere in this world, not in front of any basketball arenas, but maybe in front of some African hospitals or something, because dude has done a lot. You know what I'm saying? So Mutombo should probably get a statue just in a suit, not in a basketball uniform.
He also done a lot to advance the stripper culture too.
Yo, he loved the
He said in front of King of Diamonds, though. Mutombo. Take it off.
A big Mutombo statue out there. That would be hilarious.
Right. I just wanted to ask y'all that because y'all know everybody's just everybody basically said yes on our page.
Mm-hmm. Yo, this is our next objective as an organization. We're gonna start a GoFundMe for the Mutombo statue in front of King of Diamonds. Like, you know, we're gonna start that
with it.
Cool with it. Cool. We'll start that campaign next week. Let's have a meeting and get everything straight, and so we can get a proposal out there.
Anyway, man, give these birthday shout outs, yo.
All right, no doubt. The birthdays, of course, brought to you by Digital Extreme Technology. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options available as well. So visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, make sure you tell them War Room Sports sent you.
It's my birthday. Yay!
All right. We want to give a birthday shout out to Wally World. Wally Zerbiak, probably the hardest last name to spell in the history of the universe, turns 38. Why does he have two Z's in his name? Like S-Z-C-Z. Like
Coach K is more difficult though.
Oh yeah, that's because it doesn't even, like, if you said that, it doesn't even sound like that. His name is spelled like Krzyzewski.
Coach K.
I mean, what's Krzyzewski?
Remember Coach Krzyzewski.
All right, happy birthday shout out to MLB former star Paul Konerko, turns 39. Brian Grant, I think he got a ring with your Lakers, Jim. Brian Grant, the roster forward.
Yeah, his statue
turns
unveiled next week.
Yeah, we're gonna get him a statue because he got a chip. So he turns 43. Michael Irvin, who I heard on Dan Le Batard's show yesterday, and I think he was twisted beyond belief. He was sitting in his house, so they probably got him on the line after a few brown liquors. Michael Irvin turns 56. Rocky Blyer, former Pittsburgh Steeler, turns 59. And Fred the Hammer Williamson, he turns 77. Y'all know Fred the Hammer. Like, he don't get his props. I mean, he wasn't as good as Jim Brown as a player, but he did the Jim Brown thing where he played and then he, got into blaxploitation films and all kinds of stuff like that.
And was loving nice young ladies in the movies.
Yeah,
he had a sideburn.
He had another nickname besides the Hammer too. I don't know if he took too well to this nickname. Yeah, he was called Boss Nigger, and we can say that because we black. Don't repeat that, listeners. But that was his nickname. His nickname was the Hammer and Boss Nigger. I just wanted to say it again.
Yo, how you feel when you walk down the street and somebody like, yo, Boss Nigger?
I think he actually had a movie by that name as well. So that's how he got that moniker, because he was actually in the movie.
By the way, it's G-E-R. Yeah, so that's Fred the Hammer Williams.
Because the producers of the movie was white, so they spelled it the way you're not supposed to spell it, even if you're going to use the word in the first place, which you shouldn't, kids. All right, so we like to give all of these gentlemen a nice big War Room salute on their birthdays.
It's my birthday, yay!
And before we move on to some hot topics, we're gonna, tell you guys how you can get in touch with us. But right after this, we're gonna talk some hot topics, a little bit about Kentucky, Michael Jordan, Kobe's documentary, and of course, the big trade in the NFL that went down this week. LaShawn McCoy was traded to the Buffalo Bills for Kiko Alonso, linebacker from the Buffalo Bills to the Eagles. So we're going to talk about that right after we tell you that you can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message to us about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. While you're browsing the site, make sure you click the Memorabilia tab, buy some War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and More blog. Then you can click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, listen to the radio network at WRSPN, and download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned right there on the go. You can join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room. To enter the chat room, if you don't have one already, you can sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want one, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, make sure you click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show every week. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline is now open. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And if you do call in, please, people, let's try to keep the conversation, first of all, to a minimum, because we don't want to start having to bang on people. Secondly, let's try to keep the conversation to, what we're talking about at that moment. But if we had some stuff earlier in the show that you need to get off your chest, by all means, talk about that. But if we haven't discussed it yet, y'all can just chill, because we're going to discuss all the big stories. So, don't rush it. All right, so let's get into these hot topics. And before we do that, we got to pay some more bills. Jimmy, let everybody know who Hot Topics are brought to them by.
If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Visit audibletrial.com/warroomsports. You can get your free audiobook. There's tons of books on anything that you can imagine. If you'd like to be well read or well listened to, whatever you want to call it, audibletrial.com/warroomsports. Get you a free audiobook. And you don't have to, stay. Just want to try the free book out, see if you like the service, go ahead and do that. It's on us. audibletrial.com/warroomsports.
All right. Sports deaths. Never really want to talk about this, but man, rest in peace. Shout out to former Knick, Anthony Mason. He passed this week at the age of 48. We we reported it last week that he was dealing with congenital heart failure. He's been in the hospital ever since that episode, but maybe 2 days or so before his death, his family was basically reporting that he was improving. And then we got the news that he indeed died on Saturday morning. So, what do you guys remember about Mace? He was on those hard-nosed Knick team like Mace, Oakley, Starks.
Diamond D, the best kept secret, but he was LeBron before LeBron. He was a very large human being, bringing the ball up court, running the power point forward or the point power forward. Didn't have the J, but not really, Jimmy. I was just taking a shot at you, man. But he definitely was. He was known for running the power point forward and getting assists and initiating offense. Didn't have much of a scoring point. Didn't have much of a scoring punch. He did run on his toes, and he looked way too big to be able to handle the ball like that. Pause.
So here's what I remember about him. Right, when I think of Anthony Mason, it reminds me of a time where there were definitely like dudes in the NBA. Like, I ain't afraid of nobody, but there were some dudes in the NBA that if I we gotten little like had word, I'm turning the other way. And it made me realize that there's nobody like that now. There's nobody like that now. Like back in the day, like I wasn't messing with none of the Davis twins. They weren't even twins. We called them that, but they wasn't damn twins. I wasn't messing with the Davis boys.
They wasn't even family members.
I wasn't messing with Anthony Mason. I know. It's like it was real goons in the NBA back then. Like I look now, like there ain't no goons left. The biggest goon in the league is like Matt Barnes, and he light skinned. Like there's no goons left. So
and he got good hair.
It just made me.
Nah, Udonis Haslam be putting that work in. Zebo be putting that work in, and dark-skinned Jermaine still gets money off it.
Zebo might be the last goon left, B. Austin. Zebo's amazing because he's a goon with a game. Like he can still 20 and 10.
Udonis only tough during home games because he's from Miami. He only tough during home games.
He's not tough on the road.
That's right. You might not get too far outside of the building.
Zoe right there with him. But what about dark-skinned Jermaine is real with him?
He got suspended by the Grizzlies for something detrimental to the team. So he probably smacked somebody at practice.
The Grizzlies are the only team.
He beat up OJ Mayo. He beat up OJ Mayo.
Back in the day, there was a place.
No, I'm talking about this week.
Remember that? Like back in the day. Back in the day, there was a place on a roster for a goon. Like you had to have a goon on your squad. Everybody had to get one. Like there was that was like a spot on a team. Like So he reminds me of a time like because Anthony Mason had a little goon in him as well. Like this reminds me of a time when basketball was a lot tougher and each team had a goon. Word to John Chaney.
That's the thing though, Jim. Back then, but even the goons, they had skilled goons. Because after a while, goons just started to be that bum down on the end of the bench if you need somebody to get fouled real hard. But back in the 80s and early 90s, it was like skilled goons, like Xavier McDaniels. Like he was nice for a minute. Yeah, while he was beating dudes up.
He was 30.
30 goons.
I'm laughing at shout out to Scott Kevin. He said Udonis lost a little bit of his goonage when he cut the braids.
His goonage.
Struggle braids.
He lost some of his. He lost a little bit of his goonage when David West stepped to him too. He didn't want that work.
He didn't want that work. He did not want that work.
David West. I might turn away a good weapon for David West. There you go. He's another goon. He's left. Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a goon because David West don't go around looking for trouble. But when it comes, it seems like he scares everybody to death.
That's even more.
That's more goonish. Real, That's more goony.
Goonish should be like a level on 2K. You know how they have agility, speed. It should be like goonage.
So like a
goonage. David West definitely would get a 99 in goonage. Yeah, his goonage meter would be at a 99, right? Because did you see what David West said the other day when he found out that Brian Shaw got fired?
He said he's gonna whoop somebody.
He said how you fire a coach when you ain't got no grown men on his team? He got little boys on his team.
Yeah, I saw it.
Dang.
So how you call another team everybody in their squad little boys though? He said they ain't got no grown men.
So now when he played the Nuggets, everybody gonna be scared because they want to say something to him and they're gonna want to play better, but then they're gonna be afraid. All right, but all of this because Anthony Mason died, man. Rest in peace, Mace.
Oh damn, my fault. Rest in peace. All right.
Imagine what our conversation gonna be when Charles Oakley passed. We gonna start talking about.
He's like he's a fruity goon though.
He's not a booty goon.
No, but he's
a fruity goon.
He
looks like David
crazy. Because he don't care where he goons it out. Because remember, B. Austin was talking about. He's talking about dark-skinned Jermaine beating up OJ Mayo. That was during a card game on a charter flight. Oakley Remember, he smacked Tyrone Hill in the head in layup lines because he owed him some money off some gambling. He walked down to the opposite team's layup line and smacked the dude in the back of his head because he owed him some
that's
money.
when they won the game. Right there is when they won the game. I guarantee you they won that game.
Tyrone Hill probably got a half a rebound that night. I think Tyrone Hill sat out. I think he got a phantom injury.
Derek Coleman used to walk and block the other team's bus from leaving until he got to talk to whoever he wanted to. Like, Derek Coleman was a goon with skills too, though. Like,
Derek Coleman dressed like
Derek
Coleman
could have
when he didn't play.
Yeah, when Derek Coleman was injured, he would literally be on the sidelines with a two-piece Dickie and trees on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he had a contract making $1 gazillion. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so Derek Coleman was a skilled goon.
Rest in peace to Mace, man. Quick question, man. Because our next few shows are probably gonna, we're gonna get deep into this whole college basketball thing because it's that time of year. At 30-0, I just want to know if you fellas think that Kentucky is going to end up running the table and winning the national championship. They have one more game left in the regular season, I believe, against Florida. They're 15-15. That shouldn't be much work. But do you guys think, because it's been almost 40 years since somebody ran the table, and that was Indiana back in the 75-76 season. I think this Kentucky team can do it?
It's difficult to do.
Nah.
Pressure bust. It's time to apply it now. We got a quiet. No, but listen though. The other day they played Georgia, which was an amazing game. But if you watch the game, you realize at the end of the game, like, Georgia, like, the pressure just got too much for them, and Kentucky was able to hold their composure. So I definitely was impressed with that win. But with that being said, once they get to the tournament, it's sort of like they're not even going to be playing their opponent. They're going to be playing history and playing themselves. So the odds will be against them. But I wouldn't be surprised because the team is just that talented.
Right.
They're able to attract some of the best high school players in the world, and they had a couple guys who came back. So it's like that team is stacked.
They got 2 7-footers that play a lot of minutes at the same time. That's not, that's different in college ball.
They're going to be a difficult out regardless. They have an amazing squad, and they be killing teams. But
can you guys imagine if dudes weren't going one and done of the kind of dynasty they'd be, in the midst of right now?
It wouldn't be fair. Fact of the matter is, they're still a college dynasty because
cooking.
The best McDonald's players in next year anyway. But they would be like how Miami was when they had that stacked team back in whatever the year that was. And Miami had like first, second, and third stringers who all went to the pros. But it's just like when I watched that Georgia game, it gave me more confidence that they can do it because Georgia gave them everything. And when it got down to crunch time, like Georgia started missing layups, started making mistakes, and Kentucky kept their composure, kept the game close, and then just like opened it up. I was like, wow, that's resilient team. Like you saw them come together. So I think that was their hurdle. Getting over that, they may beat Florida by 1 million.
Well, that's what the last time they had a close game, back like February 10th, they beat LSU by 2. And then the 5 games after that, they won by an average of 24.5 points. So it seems like after they get tested, they smack the next few people just to send a message like, we fell asleep for a minute, but, we back. So it should be interesting. Like I said, we're going to start talking a lot of college basketball in the upcoming weeks because the tournament, March Madness is about to heat up, and that's, conference tournaments leading up to the big dance. So we'll see what Kentucky can do. But B. Austin, your man, talking about statues. This is one of the guys I think deserves one. But Michael Jordan, he made his first appearance on the annual World's Billionaires list, that list by Forbes, of course. He's the 1,741st richest person on the planet Earth. That sounds like a high number, but then when you realize how many people on Earth, like, there's only 1,700 people on this planet that has more money than this cat. Mike has arrived to the billionaire club.
And it's a little bit misleading because it's paper.
Every
it's paper
Forbes list is misleading.
Yeah. But in his case, Michael Jordan actually owes his billion to Donald Sterling.
Yes.
Because the reality is he makes 90 last year he made $90 million. It's a lot of money.
Donald Sterling and Phil Knight.
He made $90 million off of brand Jordan sales royalty, which the brand itself did like $2.6 billion. So Mike only gets a fraction of that. Yeah, he getting raped. Consumer rape. He only got a fraction of that. Now, when you look at the Charlotte Bobcats, prior to what happened with Donald Sterling, I believe the Bobcats had a valuation somewhere between $400. Yo, they had a valuation somewhere between 400 and 500 million. And Mike completed the acquisition of the last 90%. So he owns 90% of the Bobcats, and that's as of like 2011. When Donald Sterling, the league forced him to sell for $2 billion, every franchise in the league, their value went up between 33 and 80%. So now the Bobcats go from being worth $500 million, or call it a 500 million, to being worth 1.1 or 1 point whatever billion dollars, which in turn Jordan owns 90% of that value. So that's how he got on the list. It wasn't some new revenue stream. It wasn't some huge sale of an asset. It really is just the appreciation of something that someone could argue is overvalued based on the sale of another franchise that really may have that value. So it's kind of it's misleading, but I mean it's true. I mean he's on the list. So
Yo, Phil Knight came in at 35. He worth 21.5 billion.
He laughed at Mike.
I don't even know if you consider what Mike got for his brand or whatever in terms of brand Jordan getting consumer rate, because Mike, first of all, we know Mike has no style at all. Mike don't even wear his own stuff. So it's like, he's literally getting paid for them having his little picture, which was stolen on the paraphernalia. So he's getting $100 million a year for that. So I don't know if he's really getting taken advantage of, because Mike don't even promote his own stuff, that's one thing. The second thing is,
Jimmy,
all right, now
Mike got 3.4. He got 3.4% of Nike revenue.
Damn.
Yeah.
Brand Jordan, not Nike. Excuse me. He got
just his own brand.
4% of his own brand.
Nike owned Nike.
With that being said, he got 3.4% for a stolen logo that's not even his. Like, what did Mike do?
Pay that man for his logo, man. Pay that man for his logo.
Phil Knight got him for the logo.
Yeah, anyway, with that being said, I mean, the values are what they are, which is why Stiviano got put up to this by the powers that be, by the white guys in the back room with smoke. They got Stiviano, and they got her to record this stuff to inflate the value of all the teams. Because now,
can you imagine, Jim, like Hua, who might have been born a man, made everybody in the NBA rich, just like that.
For those who don't know, I've been like watching House of Cards, so everything is a conspiracy to me now. So I think Stiviano got put up to this, probably by either Adam Silver or our former commissioner, or both of them got together. They figured out his weak spot. They knew that he would fall for the banana and tailpipe. Pause. Word to Axel Foley. He fell for it, and now the value of every franchise is up. I saw that Kevin Garnett was talking about wanting to purchase Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves owner's response was, let me see what them Hawks go for first, and we might be able to talk. Like, so now, everybody's trying to kick off. So
the funny thing is the Hawks
are for sale now.
The Hawks are for sale, right? And they're about to come up because everyone in the Hawks front office, from Danny Ferry all the way up, is a clown, and they still about to get money off. Don't mention the Russian dude, Prokhorov.
Well, then you gotta you gotta add some money to the sale too, because you gotta pay for Dominique's statue. So
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for Dominique's slander to start. But anyway, so that's why Stiviano got put up to this. It all worked, and now so that makes Mike the billionaire, man. It is what it is, man. He's a representation of the league. So shout out to Mike for becoming a billionaire. Be awesome. You ain't got to be a party pooper, yo.
Well, let's talk about the biggest football news of the week. Well, before we do that, let's just I just want to ask you guys what you think about, who got the franchise tag and who didn't get the franchise tag. Let me read the list to you real quick of the notable names who got franchise tag this week in the NFL, because that deadline, is basically come and gone. Dez Bryant ended up getting the tag. Jason Pierre-Paul, the Chiefs outside, Chiefs pass rusher Justin Houston, Demaryius Thomas from Jimmy's Denver Broncos, and the Patriots franchise their kicker Steven Gostkowski. Those are the notable names who got the franchise tag. Who they didn't give it to was Ndamukong Suh. Some people were surprised about that. So, like, the top free agents now that those cats got the franchise tag, Ndamukong Suh, Devin McCourty, Julius Thomas, Randall Cobb, DeMarco Murray, Jerry Hughes, Mike Iupati, Greg Hardy, Byron Maxwell, and Torrey Smith. Pretty good names out there, and I'm pretty sure with all the cap space that my Philadelphia Eagles are making right now by cutting some of their veterans and some of their salaries, I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the market for some of those names. But were you guys surprised that Ndamukong Suh didn't get the franchise tag? Or did you think Detroit was basically wiping their hands of him anyway?
I think the Ford family is cool with getting rid of him because basically you've got three players there. You've got Megatron, Stafford, and Suh. You can only keep two of the three. And he was probably the odd man out because offense sells tickets. And I think that the Ford family is all about selling tickets as opposed to really winning. Megatron and Stafford give them the biggest opportunity to sell tickets because they want to sling the ball around the field as opposed to win. So Ndamukong became sellable.
Unlike us,
expendable.
They accept mediocrity. They accept mediocrity, and we don't accept mediocrity because
True.
The fact of the matter is, Suh is a game changer. Was I surprised? A little bit because I saw that if they would have franchised him, he would have got something crazy though, something like 20-something million if they put that on his the tag on him because of them inflated defensive tackle numbers. Shout out to the Redskins, but the numbers are so inflated that they would have had to pay him like 20-something million even under franchise. I'm not sure the exact number, but I saw it on the NFL Network, and I was like, "Damn!"
No, you're right.
I didn't realize it was
D tackles and nose tackles they get that guap, dog. They get it.
But with that being said, they are that important to success in this league. Suh can go to a team, and make them formidable on defense just by clogging up that middle and doing what he does. He's an amazing player.
Jimmy, and Ndamukong Suh is the best. And Ndamukong Suh is the best defensive lineman in the league. And I say that knowing J.J. Watt is on the defensive line.
Oh, that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, I don't know about that, but defensive tackle, yes. J.J. Watt is like not human.
Interior? Yeah.
J.J. Watt.
Nah.
J.J. Watt got hit by gamma rays. But with that,
I'm going all across the board because Ndamukong gets you pressure from the interior. He stays on the field for all downs, and he commands a double, if not a triple team.
I think we just discovered our next.
He doesn't. He's never going to get. He's never going to get the glory that Watt does because Watt does things that make ESPN versus Suh gets. He makes ESPN for kicking people in the nards.
Anybody who watches football who really understands the game understands what a defensive tackle can do, and you really can't quantify that statistically. But we know. We definitely know. And Suh is that guy. So Suh is. I would like to see where he lands because. I mean, he can definitely turn the tide in one of these divisions with him signing with whatever team he signs with. So I'm looking forward to that. And the funny thing about it is the NFL with the salary cap restrictions and everything that goes on, it kind of makes it exciting during free agency. It's crazy because I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, this is like a season into a. The NFL, they're just a gold mine. Everything, the draft's more exciting than any other draft. The free agency period is more exciting than anything else. Like. The NFL is just where it's at.
The business of football, for those of us that enjoy it, is in its own season in and of itself. The actual business, understanding the salary cap ramifications and how you're matching salaries, what things mean, which is a perfect segue into the biggest trade that we've seen probably in the last, I don't know, 5 years, maybe 10.
I'm not ready to segue into that yet. I wanted to talk a little bit about Dez Bryant.
Bro, you want
because I have a conspiracy theory.
Shoot
about
me
Dez
down,
because,
okay, big Brody brother.
All right, but you know that Dez got franchise tag, but he actually got the non-exclusive franchise tag. So that's kind of like the same as being a restricted free agent in the NBA. Like Dez Bryant can go out and negotiate with other teams, and the Cowboys have the right to match any offer. If not, they receive 2 first-round picks as compensation for any team who poaches Dez Bryant from him from under this non-exclusive franchise tag. Now, remember last week, we were all awaiting this big video of Dez Bryant doing something 5 times worse than Ray Rice and all of that kind of stuff. Do you guys think that the Cowboys possibly put that out there? Even if there's no video, the Cowboys maybe put that out there
I do.
to scare other teams from offering him big money, knowing that they were going to give him the non-exclusive tag instead of just the straight-up franchise tag?
Absolutely. And this confirmed it because they don't have to put as much time and energy and effort into locking him up, even on a 1-year basis, because all they're going to do is, hey, the tape is coming, and that scares other teams away. Other teams aren't going to offer Dez what Dez thinks he's worth, and so now he's got to come back home. Probably ends up re-signing for something that's nowhere near what Megatron got.
Right, because the franchise tag puts him at $12.8 million for the 1 year. But like I said, his is non-exclusive. So if another team goes out and gives them an offer, and the Cowboys decide, since they're not, teams are afraid because they don't know if he's going to be available because of this tape that's hovering over
match
him,
the lower offer,
which was supposed to come out like a week ago. Yeah, they just match it. Like B. Austin said, it probably won't be what he would have commanded on an open market with nothing hovering over him off the field.
They don't want to pay Dez more than $8 million.
Gerald did it.
More than that.
Dev, I have a question, right? Because when I saw this, the first thing I thought of was like, man, that's a steep price. You have to give up 2 first-round draft picks. Like, first off, how did the union negotiate this? Like, that's damn near like just keeping him there. That's damn near keeping him in his current state. And I was thinking, like, well, does it have to be at a certain level? Like, the Patriots just won the Bowl. Suppose they came out and was like, all right, we offer Dez chicken. Exactly. It's still 2 first-round picks for the Patriots. You probably give up pick number 30.
Yeah, two 30th picks. I think a team like the Patriots are likely to go after the dude because you know how they roll anyway. The Patriot way, we can straighten out anybody. Like he won't be a problem here, even though Aaron Hernandez was murking people under y'all watch. I think they would possibly take a chance on him.
I was like, my Broncos, that'd be love. Have Demaryius on one side and then Dez on the other side. Ooh, that'd be vicious.
Sanders
that can work for y'all too. Because actually, Peyton Manning took a $4 million pay cut. So Peyton Manning just agreed. He's making $4 million less. So they might be able to make a move like that.
Everybody that got in a position, everybody that got a position to get a franchise tag is funny. They all have question marks by them. Dez has this tape. So they've controlled his ability to, go to the bank. Sue's not getting the tag. Demaryius, there's questions. I think Demaryius is a true number 1 receiver, but he has some questions about his hands a little bit sometimes, route running a little, and he's in a position where they're saying, well, you're a beneficiary of the system that we run here. I don't think that's the case. I think he's really a true one, but some would say, and the argument I believe in the franchise tag is we don't want to tie you up for long money and big guarantees because we don't think you would do the same thing in another system. So you should be happy to be here. Yeah. That's kind of
true. Because the franchise tag is used different ways. It's used different ways. There's a way to keep him around now and just basically pass the buck later. Like maybe we depending upon what happens this season, we may or may not be in rebuilding mode, so we don't have to pay.
But
You
how
know what
old?
I mean? Why tie you up now?
How old is he? That's true. That's true. But how old is Demaryius?
Because he's in his 20s still. But the thing about it is, like, depending upon what happens, if Peyton goes away after this season, you never know what position you'll be in. So this is the way to keep him around without like making that long-term commitment. They may give him one during the course of the season. He may get an extension. You never know. Or they could be seeing what else is out there. Like, that move for Des Bryant would be mean. But, I mean, what?
Demaryius is 27, by the way.
27.
Yeah.
He's 28 in December.
Demaryius won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Speed, pure speed across that middle. Look, all right, so we'll see what happened. But shout out to Tissue and the Tape in the chat room. They said I think the video exists, but the Cowboys have it and they'll use it if another team goes after them. As soon as somebody make that offer, they're gonna get a package in the mail. We got something.
No, you're gonna know. It's gonna go on TMZ. Boom, boom, boom. And then you're gonna see it. TMZ Sports got it,
Yo, so with the bump. All right.
All
right, so now let's talk about what the hell is going on in Philadelphia. Let's talk about B. Austin's Philadelphia Eagles. Go Colts. They've made a lot of moves this week, freeing up a lot of cap space. The smaller moves that were made, of course, they made some cuts. They released guard Todd Herremans. They released pass rusher Trent Cole, which gave them, I believe, like an extra $11 million of cap relief. They released Kerry Williams, which was another $6.5 million of cap relief. And they traded their star offensive player, LaShawn Shady McCoy, to the Buffalo Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso, which frees up another Shady was due to make 12. His cap hit was about 12, but if you count Alonso's salary coming in, about $11.5 million. So the Eagles are playing with something close to $55 million of cap space right now.
56,
but a lot of people don't
24.
understand what they're doing because a lot of people in Philly in particular are up in arms about Shady being traded, but then you have another contingent of people in Philly who are just, Koloff and they're basically in Chip we trust. No matter what he does, it's in Chip we trust. So let's talk about this, fellas, and because a lot of people, when this broke, the first people, they wanted to call and see what was going on. They wanted to see what was going on with me and B. Austin. Let's get them off the ledge. First of all, I don't do the ledge anymore. I've been a Philadelphia Eagles fan all my life. At some point, you have to learn to stay away from the ledge. You have to learn that, whatever happens. It's not that serious. I can't live my life the way I used to with this team. Like, you have to accept certain things. B, my whole position in this is, okay, Shady was basically my favorite player on the team, but favorites don't always make sense. And we all know the running back bell curve starts to trend downward about 27 years old. And you have to make these projections. That's the hard job of being an NFL.
Run the numbers.
Make projections.
Run the numbers and
run those numbers.
Run the numbers and probabilities.
He declined a little bit from one season, from the season prior, 2013 to 2014. There was a lot of components that went with that decline, the offensive line injuries and such, the problems that they were having at the quarterback position, injuries and turnovers. So I'm not one of the fans, and I don't know about you because we really tried to avoid talking about this to each other until we actually got on air, but I'm not really up in arms about this. It's like when you hear the news for the first 3 seconds, you're like, damn, what they doing? They traded Shady. But then you sit down, you realize the business of football. You look at everything that's in the cards. Okay, they got back a stud young linebacker. Was almost a rookie of the year in 2013. Did miss 2014 because of a ACL tear, which is a little, a little scary for me. But
it ain't.
But those injuries are no longer the end of the
Right.
world with modern medicine.
Right.
So we know that. So we're saying if we can get this stud linebacker to come back and play the way he played his rookie year and get better as he ages, then this trade could certainly be worth it, because only the greatest of the great running backs of all time really made a $12 million type of difference after the age of 27. And Shady will be 27 when the season starts, right?
When the season starts, yep.
Okay. So I'm not all up in arms about it. This is my problem, and I'm gonna stop gunning in a minute and let you, because I know B. Austin wants to go in on this
all my points.
But this is my problem. Okay, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna tell you what my problem is personally. My problem with everything is going on is the unknowns, because I'm looking at everything going on as a setup, and I think he's setting it up. So I think the whole cap space move is so he can make a big splash in free agency, so he can devalue the draft picks that he's going to end up giving away to reunite with Marcus Mariota, who I don't want on the team at that cost. That's what I'm afraid of. So I'm not all, crying about Shady leaving and all that kind of stuff like people expect me to. I'm afraid of what might happen because of all the people that are getting cut. Like, that's me in a nutshell.
Well,
be awesome. Let me say something real fast before you go in. I know you're about to go in.
I am not really going to go in.
From the outside looking in, not as an Eagles fan, it wasn't surprising, because other Eagles players said that he wasn't there, but it still was surprising because you're like, damn, Shady's an Eagle. You know what I mean? But he's an older running back, and we all know, Dad just laid out most older running backs. I mean, and also when you look at the league now, that position doesn't really hold the same value. So, running backs now are by committee on damn near every team there is.
Unless you have one of the top ones in the league, which they did. But
unless you got, and even with the top ones, there's probably only 3 to 5 of them that even get majority of the carries. Outside of that, it's running back by committee. So that position is devalued right now. We're the passing league. He didn't have a great season. And I know that for a fact because he was on my fantasy team, and I got personal beef with him. I mean, running east-west and dancing before you go straight.
The Humpty Dance.
But the macro of this whole thing is looking at Chip. Basically, they gave him the power he wanted. So, not that you have to be in Chip we trust, but he's either going to fail or he's going to succeed, but it's all on him. So we'll know very soon, what's this going to be. There's no pointing the finger at anybody else. Everything falls now on Chip's shoulders because he's making these moves. He's making these decisions. So you're putting all your eggs in Chip's basket. Let's see what happens. I mean, all the pressure is on Chip now.
B?
In the trolley or something?
No, she's not under the table. My take on this initially when the story broke. So I look at this, the same way that or very similar to death, which is why when you don't go first, you know the rest. But I guess when it first broke, I was in shock. I was upset. I was angry. All the things that everybody else is as a fan, because he was probably the best player on the team, one of the more productive, and contrary to I think he set the bar very high in terms of his production the previous year, having almost 1,700 yards. So now, when we look at what he did this past season, 312 carries, 4.2 yards a carry, 1,319 yards. Very good season. Not great, but very good season. I would say when you look at him on a ranked list, he was the third best running back in the NFL behind DeMarco Murray, and I believe DeMarco, and there was one other back ahead of him, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was ahead of him. Yeah, it was Le'Veon Bell, and then right underneath him was statistically this year. And then right underneath him at 4 was beast mode. So now the thing that makes Shady, very, very valuable as a marquee back isn't just the rushing or the running attempts. We didn't utilize him in the passing game much last year, but historically speaking, he falls into the category of a Matt Forte, Arian Foster, a beast mode, Le'Veon Bell. Those guys stay on the field all 3 downs, and they catch very well out of the backfield, and they split out wide, and they take a linebacker with them. Some of those guys, Jamal Charles also fits into that category. Some of those guys, you can't even line a linebacker up on, Shady being one of them. You've got to account for him with a DB in the passing game, which is what makes him valuable, and you don't necessarily have to run running back by committee. So there's a lot of value there. After I went through and I analyzed the trade, it actually is a good trade. It's a good trade. For some reason, looking at Shady's carries from the time he entered the league to now, I don't think that he's going to fall off next season. He hasn't taken a lot of. He doesn't run between the tackles much. He doesn't take a lot of big hits. I think he's taking care of himself pretty well. I can see him playing at this level for the next 3 seasons. So I believe for the next 3 years, you'll say till he's 30, 31 even, he's going to be a very, very, very productive back. You're going to get a 10,000-yard guy, 10,000-yard career out of him, barring any serious injury. I believe that. But $12 million for a running back in this day and age, outside of Adrian Peterson in his prime, I just can't see. You can justify getting rid of that salary in almost any situation. And so when you look at the number, it's a good trade. When you get Kiko Alonso back, assuming that he returns to form or somewhere within 5% of where he was, if he's 95, 97% of the player that he was his rookie season, and you see the learning curve increase, he's going to be very good for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, barring any major injury. You're also getting him
third in his tackles as a rookie and had 4 interceptions.
Yeah,
so he's good in coverage as well. He can cover.
Yeah, as a great in coverage. Great in coverage. Hold on, real quick, Jimmy. Okay, you get Kiko at his next year's. This year's salary is $600K. Next year's salary is $900K. LaShawn McCoy is going to make $12 million this year, and Lord knows what next year. Even if he restructures and the Bills restructure, he's going to make a whole hell of a lot more than Kiko Alonso on his rookie deal.
Current contract. LaShawn, like the rest of his contract, he's going to be averaging $10 million a season. The rest of his contract.
Yeah, he's going to average 10. So that's 3 more years. That's 30. That's
Nobody's
like $32 million. That's like $32 million to Kiko Alonso's $1.7 million. And you're going to get a guy who's within reach from a productivity standpoint. You're getting guys that are comparable. Kiko isn't as proven as LaShawn, but he, in one season he did some amazing things. 159 tackles, 4 interceptions, 8 passes defense, and I think 3 forced fumbles with 5 sacks. That's tremendous production from an interior linebacker standpoint. So you're getting a stud guy. Much like Devin, my issue. What else?
Means they're going to free up some more cap space when they cut.
Because they're getting rid of DeMeco Ryans. Yeah, DeMeco is gone, which is I'm not mad at that. I love what
he's
DeMeco
coming off
gave
Achilles,
us.
Which I think is worse than
athletically
ACL.
Yeah, athletically he's not going to be there anymore. So I'm cool with that. My biggest problem is, Devin, you put this as the unknown. I'm going to go a step further and say I know what's going to happen, which is Chip Kelly is going to mortgage our future. As an Eagles fan, I'm tying myself to the organization. He's freeing up. There's $56 million in free cap space. There's a ton of free agents that can be brought in. There's a ton of things that can be done with $56 million in cap space, and all of it points to him bringing in what he considers to be, quote unquote, his guy, an averaged armed college quarterback who ran a glorified high school system, gimmick system to run a misdirection offense that the NFL is catching up to. Why do I say they're catching up to Chip Kelly? Because outside of the pace that we run our offense with, it's stuff that they've now already seen before. And when you're throwing the ball,
it was anything complicated in the first place besides the pace.
No, it's not complication. But when you're throwing the ball and you're playing the game of football horizontally, you're playing a dangerous game with NFL level athletes. And if you're basing the game on that, which you have to be if you're bringing Mariota in, because Mariota doesn't have an NFL deep ball, you're playing a dangerous game because there are other guys out there like Kiko Alonso who can play from that inside the hashes to the outside to the sideline and can shut that down. So I think that I have a problem with what I believe Chip Kelly is doing. He's going to leverage the trade in and of itself was a good move, not a great move, not because we don't know how we replace his production, but yeah, I'm nervous, man.
Yeah, I'm nervous. But that one thing is like it's stupid if that's the plan, because it's dumb if that's the plan, because if you have that kind of cap space and you still have picks in the draft, that means you can buy talent, veteran talent, and then you can draft depth. The best teams in the NFL have depth. That's why that whole next man up quote is the biggest thing in sports right now, because a lot of teams position themselves. So if your veteran goes down, then you have somebody who is learning in the wings. And you're not going to have that if you spend all your money on free agents and then you blow all of your picks on a quarterback who may or may not be a bust. And you just don't have that depth back there. But Jim, you understand? You something out real quick, because we're gonna go to the phone lines.
Yeah, I just want to say we had a couple comments on. We got a one on Twitter. We got a couple in the chat room. First off, I'm laughing at a tissue in the tape who called Mariota RG4, which is just hilarious to me for some reason. Skyview asked a question about how Chip got this much power. I see Dev answered him. He basically threatened to leave, and that's how he got the power that he got.
His homie got fired.
At Casey Mack said Chip got rid of Deshaun and Shady, but he kept Riley Cooper, so he's going a whole different way with it. But
Chip Kelly.
So everybody's slandering Chip now. We got a couple calls on the line. We got our phone lines are blowing up.
Kelly Cooper and
let's bring Rob on.
Let's get him.
He's an Eagles fan.
All right.
Rob, what's up, Rob?
What's up, y'all? Y'all doing, man?
What up, man?
What's going on? What do you think about the trade as an Eagles fan?
The Eagles fan, I already kept tabs on the salary cap thing. And I knew that LeSean McCoy. I'm sorry, y'all. LeSean McCoy was overpaid. And we can all blame down how he rode, man, because he was trying to get all the deals done back in 2010 or 11 before the lockout. Now, and I can say on the fact is the running back position is not valued as much was the passing league. It's not really a passing league. I'll say it's a copycat league. Like everybody's a copy off of one and off of the other. He's still a dynamic player. You still can't replace that production. When he's good, he's great.
I mean, there's no way the Eagles suit up a running back next year, whether a rookie from the draft or somebody they pick up in free agency. There's no way they suit up a running back next year as good as LeSean McCoy. Yeah, that's a given.
The trade is terrible. If it was Patrick Willis, maybe I'll be like, but this dude, this is not the first time he had ACL injury. He had ACL injury in college. In college.
And did you say Patrick Willis?
Patrick Willis already in decline. I would have been mad as hell if they traded for Patrick Willis.
Yo, Patrick Willis? Both the dog food. Which one, champ? Because Patrick Willis can't even play no more.
It's just wait. But or if it was like a young Kylie Mack, I can understand. But Kiko Alonso, I mean,
you saying that like the dude is.
I still can't understand this. I still can understand this. I mean,
Rob, here real quick. Listen.
If you're gonna get a linebacker, a middle linebacker, it has to be. If you're gonna get a linebacker, it has to be a Kiko Alonso or Luke Kuechly or somebody like that to even make this make sense. You can't do this for some.
Listen to this, Rob, listen to this. Like, Kiko has an upside. There were rumors that if they did the deal, they were going to cut Shady flat out. So the fact is, you didn't do that. You got back somebody who has the potential of having upside. So it's like, you know, you got something, because they were talking about just cutting them out flat out, just cutting to avoid that salary.
It doesn't matter. He could did like he did with the Deshaun Jackson situation, which he waited.
So you rather him cut him?
He waited. Wait. He waited until we get to the owners meeting, so you get to meet the owners and GMs to see who will want Shady, and make your trade then to get ready for the draft. But they didn't even do that. You know, it's almost a dictatorship. It's either my way or the highway.
Well, he had to make a decision. Like, time is of the essence. He had to make a decision. So this is a guy that we're talking about cutting flat out. But instead of cutting him, you got back someone who, you know, was arguably one of the best at his position 2 years ago. Now, granted, he's coming off of an injury. So if he doesn't work out, that's fine. You were cutting him anyway.
You only have to pay this guy $600,000.
Salute to. There are only few players in our lifetime that we see, like a salute to Thomas Davis and Willis McGahee, who could come out of an injury, you know, the season and come back and just play like hell. You know what I'm saying? They're not make the Hall of Fame, but hey, salute to them. But those are once in a lifetime players.
Wait,
you know,
who
says they need him to be a Hall of Fame player, though? What I'm saying is, you got something. You were going to cut Shady and get nothing in return.
Yeah,
Rob, what he's saying is, bottom line, they weren't paying $12 million for the deal.
There's some validity to
that.
There's some validity to that. From a personality standpoint, there are a couple players in that locker room that Chip didn't want around, allegedly, and Shady was one of them. They're going to get rid of personality combined with salary, and the way Chip's plays were designed, Chip wasn't cool with Shady's running style. Shady's running style is frustrating if the blocking isn't really working. So despite, from a fan perspective, we know it's feast or famine. You got to live with some losses to get some gains. Chip was tired of him not hitting the hole. I'm not saying I don't feel that way, but that's the way Chip felt. So they were going to get rid of him.
We can go there with that. I got one question for B. Austin, because I was watching NFL Combine, and one thing they talk about when doing the defensive back drills was about how hard it is to coach these defensive backs coming out of college, because in college, you know, they're playing a lot of press bail, cover bail, and when they go in the NFL, they play man-to-man. They can't, you know, they're playing cover bail not because they can play, because they're trying not to get beat. You know, they're trying to teach kids in college, the cornerbacks, defensive backs, how to stop their scheme, not ready to play post-out defense. And playing a post-out corner and playing defensive back in the pros, what are like the three things? I'm gonna leave it to three things. I know you can go on. 3 things that defensive back must do, or techniques they must learn to develop at that level.
Well, it's not so much. It is a technique thing, but it's also an athletic thing and an awareness thing. So in college, what you're taught is at all costs keep the man in front of you, which is why they play so much bail, as you say. Because if I keep everything in front of me, I've got a chance to make a play on the man or a play on the ball. In the NFL, you actually are taught to be able to trail, and recovery speed and quick twitch is what most corners have to have in the NFL, especially man guys, because within a 3 to 5 yard space when the ball is in the air, I've got to catch up to that person. So you can't always play with someone in front of you as if you're in a zone. In a man situation, there are going to be times when you are in trail and you've got to have the speed and awareness to be able to catch up. The second thing that I see the difference between the NFL game and the college game is awareness. College corners don't always, the good ones and the great ones that are going to go on and play at the next level are aware when the ball is in the air and they turn around, look for it, and they don't lose a step. that's something that you have to have at the NFL level, which I'll illustrate. Bradley Fletcher does not have that. And it's not really his fault. Athletically and skill-wise, he's just not capable of playing as a prime-time starting NFL corner, because you have to get your head around an NFL corner plays the ball as if it's thrown to him. So my primary job, I've got two jobs that kind of mirror each other, not really one being above the other. The first is I've got to make sure the man doesn't catch the ball, but the second is to create the turnover and be there. So that's the difference. What's up?
I don't mean to cut you off, Rob. Thanks for the call, but our phone lines are like blowing up. We got to get to some more calls before we get out of here. But thanks for the call, homie.
True. Thanks, Rob.
All right. So let's get Melvin on. Melvin's been waiting for a minute to talk. Melvin out of DC. What's up, Melvin?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's good?
Melvin, is this Melvin the Bills fan?
This is him. This is I.
Congratulations, brother.
Brother. Yeah. I had to call in. With this topic.
Man, we appreciate you.
I know you have. You got yourself a running back.
We had to do it. Yeah. Before I touch on that real quick, I didn't even know about the whole Dez Bryant thing as far as the whole conspiracy theory about Cowboys might try to put the videotapes and the tape out there to stop other teams from trying to get at Dez. I didn't even think about that, so I'm glad y'all brought that up. And the whole Donald Sterling thing, I didn't even know that. I guess Sterling was the reason why it increased Jordan's value of the Bobcats.
Yeah, I didn't. He increased everybody's value. That's why the Russian dude trying to get out now.
But how is that? Can y'all explain that real quick? How did Donald Sterling whole situation raise Jordan's value?
Basically, like real estate,
because the value the team wasn't worth $2 billion that Steve Ballmer purchased it for. So once it was only valued at $700 million. Steve Ballmer had to pay $2 billion. So the moment he paid what amounts to $1.3 billion more than what it's worth, everybody else's franchise increase. It's just like real estate. A house on your block sells for $100,000 more. That means your house automatically picks up $75,000 to $100,000 more in value based on the comparable. Same exact principle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he basically messed the market up. It's also like, and it's also like free agency. You know what I'm saying? If somebody goes out and signs Dez Bryant now for like $20 million a year, then they're setting the market for wide receivers. So like a guy like Jeremy Maclin, he's not going to get that, but he's going to get more than he would have because Dez, he pushed the value up for wide receivers. So Ballmer did everybody a favor. I have no idea why they paid that much money for that franchise, but
now Melvin, this is Jimmy speaking. It's why I believe the whole thing was set up to begin with. Like that's why the whole thing is a conspiracy. Stiviano set up, Donald Sterling because everybody was trying to inflate the value of their teams. So she was a pawn in the whole thing. So if she ends up missing soon, we're gonna know why.
No. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But I was thinking like location too. I was thinking like, okay, I can stand the Clippers having extraordinary amount for their billions of dollars, but I mean, as I compared to Oklahoma City or places like that, like, you're gonna pay $2 billion for Oklahoma City.
Markets still matter. Like the Clippers are still going to be worth more than Oklahoma City and Charlotte, no matter what the value is. But I remember when it was happening, they were saying, man, the Clippers might end up selling it for $1 billion. And everybody was like, wow, $1 billion. And then like $2 billion, where the hell did that come from? So yeah, he gave everybody, now Prokhorov is trying to get out in New Jersey. I mean, in Brooklyn. He's like, hey, I made money even when the team was losing money. His value went up. So now he's trying to sell the team. The Hawks are trying to get out of the business. So everybody gonna cash out.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts, man, on Shady coming to the Bills?
He had look, he's psyched. ain't that what y'all say? He's psyched.
Okay, yeah.
Like got Matt Castle too.
I'm a Bills fan. Been a Bills fan since I was 12 years old, so I want to get that out the way first. Lifelong Buffalo Bills fan. So for this trade, great trade for Buffalo, bad trade for the Eagles. I'm not gonna say not horrible for the Eagles, but bad for the Eagles. But great trade for Buffalo. Great.
Why do you think it's bad for the other team, though?
Yeah, why is it bad?
What's bad for the Eagles? Because the Eagles, Eagles, okay. First of all, Shady, he's a top 3 running back in the game. Top 3 back right now.
Yeah,
okay, he came off.
You're right.
Yeah, he had a 1,300-yard season, kind of down from the season before. He had over 1,600 yards, but like I said, there's a lot of variables, reasons why he was down as far as yardage. So I think he's still very productive. He hasn't peaked yet. He's still, he's highly productive back. And yeah, okay, the running back position has been devalued over the years. Okay, I get that, but to still be to go deep into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl, you need a good back. And all these back by committees, Seattle got to the Super Bowl with Lynch. He had most of the carries. Even with the Patriots.
What about the Patriots?
Right, but the Patriots, they had Blunt. But Blunt took over towards the end of the season. It was Blunt. He took over.
But they were already good before Blunt came.
Right, but still, Blunt took over the second half of the season. That was with Blunt. And the Packers. Who the Packers have? Packers have Lacy, right?
The Blunt quit on the Steelers because he couldn't get any carries. So how good is he really?
That's the Steelers. It's a different situation, different organization. Apples and oranges between the Steelers and the Patriots.
Melvin, here's the point. When we look at this strictly from a business standpoint, because Dev and I are both Eagles fans, and Shady was definitely our favorite player. I'm still a Shady fan. Like, I hope he goes on and he gets 250 yards a game for y'all, except for when y'all play us. I want to see him be very successful. The top 5 backs in the NFL are Spray Tan, DeMarco Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Shady, Beast Mode, and Arian Foster. Of all 5 of those guys, do you know what the salaries are?
And maybe
DeMarco not Murray, sure, but I believe
maybe the boy in Kansas
DeMarco Murray makes under $2 million a season. Le'Veon Bell is on his rookie deal, so he's making like a couple $100,000. Beast Mode is probably the highest paid next to Shady because he makes $8 million, and then Arian Foster is in the mid million. He's like $4 million, $5 million a season. Nobody at that position other than your man Adrian Peterson is making anywhere near $12 million a season. So even though I love Shady and I respect him, I'm cool with getting $12 million off of my book when I'm getting Kiko Alonso, who in the next 3 years, Shady's on schedule to make $30-some million. The Bills aren't going to pay that. I mean, they're not. They're good business people. But $30 million, and Kiko Alonso is only going to make $1.7 million in the next 2 years because he's still on his rookie deal. Even if he comes back at half the player he was, I'm cool. Because from a money standpoint, I'm winning on that deal.
Right, but from a money standpoint, you're winning. From a play on the field, a production standpoint, I think you're gonna lose because Kiko Alonso, yes, you're only gonna pay him. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you got other positions to fill on the team.
In terms of you need a whole stud running back, that's BS because if you look at the top 5 backs in the league, only one of them has a championship. And that's Beast Mode, but he's playing with a legendary defense. And outside of that, forget that. People missing the big point, they were going to cut Shady anyway. So forget the trade. The trade was, let me get something, I'm going to cut this guy anyway.
Yeah,
so the fact I can get who may or may not, Kiko may not work out. But what's the difference? They were going to cut Shady anyway. So
my thing is, why even cut Shady? Why can't you use other positions you couldn't cut? You're gonna cut Shady just because he's making all this money and running back?
Yeah.
They cut a few. I mean, they cut their best pass rusher. They cut. It's an age thing in the NFL, man. You know the running back curve. People, we talked about it yesterday. People project.
I understand who all these
works, man.
Yeah, I understand all these numbers and projections and all these running backs. He's 27. He's going to be on the downside, blah, blah, blah.
Outside of that, no running back in the league, not Adrian Peterson, is worth that much money. It's money. That's too much money to have invested in that position, especially
I agree with that, but they didn't come at Shady at all to maybe try to restructure his deal so he'll take less money because I believe he would have stayed.
They did. They did. No, they did.
He didn't
Shady said, "I'm not taking a pay cut, or I'm not doing any of that." So that's why he was getting.
He said he's not doing it.
They tried.
And guess what, Melvin? He's getting ready to stick y'all up too, because he's talking about not showing up at Buffalo unless they cut him more money.
He'll show it. He got 12 million. He got 12 million reasons to show up. He'll show up. He got 12 million. Wherever we're paying him.
One thing you said might not be that accurate. You said that he hasn't peaked yet. That 1,600-yard season might have been a peak because we're talking about, like, statistically speaking, this 1,319 that he had this season. That's the highest. That's the highest yardage, rushing yardage total he's had beside the 1,607.
And I'll take that. I will take that.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that to say that he hasn't peaked. Shady might not. I don't think he's going to touch 1,600 yards again. He's not that kind of back that you can just, that you're just going to give the ball to nonstop. I mean, because y'all have another
back. 350 carries. He's not going to get 350 carries. Put it like that.
He might in Buffalo. He might go. Hey, we got Fred Jackson. Fred Jackson is Asian. And Fred Jackson's Asian. He might. And McCoy is a great receiver out the backfield too. I mean, he catches the ball as well. Only issue I have, I don't know how we're going to use him because the blocking, we have to work on the offensive line, and Shady, he doesn't run all between the tackles that much. So I'm kind of concerned on how we're going to block for him and everything. But as far as production, a great back, he's a definite upgrade from what we had. Great trade for Buffalo. Kiko Alonso, to touch on Kiko Alonso, he's nice, but he had a good rookie year, but that's still 1 year. You don't know what you're going to get. He's coming off an ACL injury, and you don't know. You're basing on how good he's going to be off. You're basing on how good he's going to be off 1 year. Shady has 4 or 5 years. But that's it though. That's a 1 year sample size. Shady has a 5 year sample size I can see.
Which is Melvin, you're making points for us. A running back with a 5 year sample plays against him.
The greatest linebacker ever. We just don't know.
No, but a running back with 5 years behind him plays against him. That's the whole point of, okay, how NFL makes deals, and the back of these deals, there's no way we're going to pay this guy no matter what he's doing at that point, because Shady had statistically a good year. So 5 years behind him, that's what scares people. Because running backs have an average of like 3 years. He's on his 6, and he's a very good running back right now. That's what scares teams, from the whole long-term thing. So I don't know. I mean, like you said, I'm still a fan of him.
I wouldn't have got rid of him. Now, if he absolutely didn't want to restructure against his deal to take maybe even a couple $2 or $3 million less, like Peyton Manning did, then I could understand it. But I understand it. But that was bad. And you guys should have gotten more for him than just Kiko Alonso. That's so disrespectful to just trade him for one guy.
We couldn't.
Melvin, real quick. Last point.
Couldn't.
Everybody knows you're going to cut the guy anyway, so why would they even offer you more than the Kiko Alonso? The point I'm trying to make is the Eagles had no leverage because they weren't keeping him. Everyone knew they were going to cut Shady, so no one's going to come and offer you first-round pick. First of all, for a running back who may or may not start getting injured. I mean, you got to watch out for that. He's on the other side of his career. And you
don't know what you're going to get with Kiko either. You don't know what you're going to get from him either. Granted, you only paid $600,000, but you don't know what you're going to get from him either.
Melvin, the Eagles could have traded Shady for you.
He's making damn near the league minimum. I don't think they care if it doesn't work out. I really don't. I think they're like, look, they have a chance to come up. They have a chance to steal in this trade. If it doesn't work, like you said, he's making damn near the minimum. So
an ACL today, because of modern medicine in 2015, is not the same as an ACL in 1988. So we've got guys. I mean, Baron Davis had 3 ACLs and could still get his big belly up over the top of the rim after that. I mean, it happens in this day and age.
Well, no, Well, be honest, none of that matters. Kiko can be completely terrible. The fact of the matter is they were cutting Shady anyway.
Right. I get you. I get you. And we get a
But all that,
linebacker.
but all that money, and all that, but 2 points, all that money that you get, that you're saving off the cap, you better get a secondary because Eagles secondary was horrific. One,
I think that's a priority. They've already cut Kerry Williams, so that's definitely a priority.
Yeah, both Kerry Williams and Fletcher were horrible. Both were horrible.
Fletcher shouldn't be cut. Fletcher should be probably stoned to death. But
yeah.
Well, listen, we got.
And then Mariota, and then I hope y'all don't get Mariota. Please don't get Mariota because that spread offense, Oregon, that shit is not gonna work in the NFL. It's not going to work in the NFL. It's not going to work.
We agree.
All right,
man. Thanks for your call, bro.
So our lines are blowing up. Phil, hold on one more second. We got a call before you. We got homie Jonathan calling in.
Jonathan, gonna get to know basketball.
RG3's agent. What's up, Jonathan?
What's up, War Room family?
What's going on?
What's goody?
Oh. Okay, 2 things I want to hear. Actually 3, but I'll be real quick. Number 1, before I get into the whole shade, because I know that's coming up, let me explain something with the new NFL, which I do not like, and I think you guys can agree. I do not like all these NFL teams now trying to find the next Bill up in New England.
Belichick.
Belichick, excuse me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to cut costs. They don't want to pay these GMs the money no more, and they don't want to pay the coaches all these high expenses. So they're trying to combine both positions into one, so to speak. And to me personally, that doesn't really work. You have to have a good talent person, but also a person who can work and be a cool head. And what happens is these coaches, and let's face it, most NFL coaches have egos. That's how they got the position. If they clash with someone in your organization like Deshaun Jackson, Shady McCoy, Terry Williams, Daniel Hall, or whoever else, you can't just say, okay, you can't just sit there and say, okay, well, because you don't like what I got to say, you're done, you're out, and kick them out. It doesn't work all the time. This is the NFL. This is not college. NFL. You're going to have Eagles. You got to work with the guys.
But John, the Eagles aren't actually cutting costs with this because the guy who was making these decisions before Chip Kelly is still with the organization, and he actually got a promotion, but he's no longer that guy. He's just the cap guy now because he was never a football guy in the first place. He was a cap guy.
It's not about cost.
The Eagles are wasting money and letting Chip Kelly run the team in the ground. So
and don't get me wrong. We could be wrong about this. Chip Kelly can know what he's doing. But on the same token, you don't want to Steve Spurrier 2.0.
John,
and as a fan, you know what I'm saying.
John. He don't know what he's doing. This is going to get ugly.
Wait a minute, B. If he gets all of this cap space and uses it on good free agents and doesn't pull this Mariota coup, then you might owe the dude an apology. I mean, we're both kind of convinced that he's going to do that. But if he doesn't,
I will make that apology.
I'm about to say, if he doesn't, then they're going to have a very deep team.
Tip about to make y'all end up getting Jameis. He gonna flip the whole thing and get Jameis on y'all. But hold on, Jonathan, I have one point to make.
Not that many.
Here's my point. My point is this. I understand what you're saying about guys with their egos and clashing. It's one thing to clash with a coach when you make $900,000, but when you clash with the coach and you're counting $12 million against the cap, that's a whole different thing. Most of this stuff comes down to economics, man. They're willing to put up with certain things, but when you cost that much money and you look at the production you give versus what you're costing the team, I mean, it's a business decision.
I understand it. And speaking off the business decision, another thing I think that you guys were overlooking, maybe not, because I kind of came in on the tail end of the conversation, the running back position we talked about before has been kind of diluted because with the new CBA that came out a few years ago, you don't have to grab a running back in the first round no more.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We were trying to explain that to the.
Yeah, you can either run
though, John. We got to run, John. We got a couple more calls to get to. A couple more calls to get to before we get out of here. We apologize for the short time, but
John, we appreciate you.
John.
No problem. Take care.
All right, sir.
All right. Let's get to the homie real quick. Phil, a Tissue and the Tape podcast on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. We know
we need everybody to start calling in earlier, man.
Yo, what's good?
Philly-matic.
What's really good? Hey, now what's up, fellas?
What's really good?
I
Not
know
Chip Kelly.
Gotta be real quick, so I'm gonna just get right to it. I was happy that Shady got traded because it's just gonna make my Madden game a little bit better when I gotta play against dudes that use the Eagles. So I was happy about that. But in real life, I think it was a good trade from everything you guys said based on the money. On the field is where I'm gonna question it. All depending on what they do next week when free agency starts. Like if they go out and get Byron Maxwell or one of those guys, then it starts to look smarter. Think like you guys that they're going to make a play for Mariota and try to duck up the Eagles a little bit more than they already have. And
you hear me and B like, man, just hearing that.
Just how he said duck up. Duck up the Eagles.
I really think that he's gonna mortgage part of the future a la the Redskins did with RG3 to go up and get Mariota. And I don't think he's the guy that Chip Kelly thinks he is. And that's where he's
I think RG3 is a better prospect than Mariota, personally.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean prospect, Jimmy. I'm talking about I don't think either one of them are worth these trades, but I would do it
better if
for RG3 before I would do it for Mariota. But I wouldn't do it for either one of them.
And here's the last thing that I'll say about that. Running back it's still very important, but you don't need a $12 million running back. The Vikings don't. I don't even think AP's worth $12 million, just because he's not going to win them anything. Even if he gets 2,000 yards, he's not going to win them a Super Bowl.
You need to spread that money around and get better players everywhere around the field. You have a stud running back and your D-backs play like feces, then it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can throw 8 in the box and let them run 20 times and whatever. They're not. They had the 4 of us could have been wide receivers on the Vikings. The way their quarterback was, it didn't matter.
Right.
It really comes down.
Yeah, good point. I mean, we'll all see. Only time we'll tell. Bottom line is, we'll see if Chip. You never know what Chip's going to do, man. We're all speculating, but Chip may turn around and do what Dev said and make the team deep. You never know. We'll see. Only time we'll tell. But Chip,
I just don't think his system is conducive to NFL play. He's getting players that fits his Oregon system. Well, Oregon system didn't win them any championships in college, so I really don't believe that it's going to win them any championships in the NFL. Just because
they got bullied every time they played a team worth its salt. They got bullied.
They got
Ohio State
by the smart guys that Stanford punked them. I mean, the nerd dudes was like, "Yo, you're not tough, and you have to be tough." Yeah. If you look at the teams that win the Super Bowl, they're tough. The teams that get to the Super Bowl, they're tough. And when you see the teams that are not tough, no shots, Jim, you see what happens. I mean, it's just
no shade. No shade.
No comment. Hey, Phil, thanks for the call. We got another call to get to real quick.
No doubt.
Thanks for the call.
Handle your business. Best sports show in the business.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. We appreciate
it. Out.
No doubt. We got the homie Naj on the line. It's the last call tonight. Let's see what Naj got to say about this. Naj, what's up, brother?
What up,
man?
Hey.
What up, Naj?
Hey, man. Ain't nothing, man. Y'all laying out some good stuff. I'm in agreement with you on Chip Kelly. That ego is out of control. The idea that you're going to trade your best players 2 years in a row because you have some personal differences is petty and should be beyond the NFL coach. Parcells could cuss out Lawrence Taylor, and then the next day they just go to the meetings. It's nothing. That's what a football coach does. You have disagreements. But he's setting this thing up similar to like a college coach who goes somewhere and puts in the option. He gets players that fit that system, but now you're stuck. Your program is stuck. You can't get rid of the guy because everything is based on his system. He's got players based on it, and it's going to be a hard transition getting that guy out the door. And I don't know how this dude got so much fair weather out there with 0 playoff wins. He's got 1 playoff appearance, and he's acting like he's Parcells or somebody. So that's the amazing part to me that he's getting away with it.
Thought. If he pulls this thing for Mariota and it crashes and burns, then 3 years later, Chip Kelly gets fired. He has a college job in 30 seconds after he gets fired, but the Eagles will be suffering from what he did for the next 4 years because they're going to have a system quarterback who probably won't adapt to the next coach, and it's going to be a mess. But a lot of Eagles fans.
The rebuild is going to be hell if he fails. Right. Good point. If he fails, the rebuild is hell, man. And just to be honest, man, Mariota, you could get Mariota every year. He is not somebody you trade the farm on to move up for.
Exactly.
He's not one of those guys. He's not a special once-in-a-decade type guy. That's who you make those trades.
Get Mariota with Hundley later in the draft.
Exactly. Great point, because Hundley will be there. Now, that's another project, but that's essentially what Mariota is. Now, the point I disagree with y'all on is the idea with Shady. Now, understood. Y'all said they're trying to get cap room. They're trying to clear cap. It didn't matter what they got back in the trade. But when you're looking at value, you have to say, this is a good player we have. If we can't get anything for him, then we just go ahead and push it through with him one more year and get that value out of him, and then kick him out the door. You don't trade him and get nothing back, and then look, man. I understand the running back position is devalued, but good players are valued, and sometimes you just got to eat it and keep them, man. This was a huge mistake. Rex jumped on it because it was perfect for him, but you keep a guy like Shady for that last $12 million, and then you kick him out the door. You don't get rid of him based off that 12. Go ahead.
The point is they were cutting him anyway. They were going to cut him anyway. He was
going
based
on. You don't back yourself into that corner. You don't have to cut him.
Personal differences, you need to. I get what y'all saying, but y'all know we got to go. It's 8:00, so we got to go. But thanks for your call, man. We'll continue to. We'll probably still be talking about this next week because free agency going to start. So we'll just start that talk a little earlier, man. Thanks for your call.
No doubt. All right, y'all.
All right, man, we got to definitely run real fast. Thanks for joining us in the War Room, good people. Shout to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. All the calls who chimed in, we appreciate it. Those we didn't get to, we apologize. Tune in next week, same time, same place. Talking more football, more basketball. But until then, go to warroomsports.com to see everything we're doing. Get all of our social media contacts, all on warroomsports.com. As we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Yes, sir, we will. And Dev wasn't ready. Peace.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Yo. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic in the box court. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.